Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook. We got Eric Naleen, and we got some great breaking news to discuss. While on a visit to Texas, first reported by our Justin Wells over at Inside Texas, Folsom, California defensive tackle Josiah Sharma flipped to the Longhorns on his visit, threw it out there on Twitter for everybody to see, and Eric, this is one that we kind of had ready in late June, ended up going Oregon's way, but now it goes the Longhorns' way, and it's such a big addition for Texas here in late July.
Yeah, it might be the biggest get of the cycle so far. Not the most talented necessarily, but the guy that is the biggest need. For those who don't know the background story, he was set to commit to Texas on June 27th, or on June 28th. On June 27th, it was all Texas. That morning became Oregon. And that's kind of started that Texas recruiting slide that we saw in late June, early July, when it felt like they were never going to get a commitment again. But, Texas had the lead for a reason. They were in on them fairly early. They were very aggressive. We felt like Texas was certainly the team to beat. And, the way that this came about, even his high school coaches didn't know he was visiting Texas. Oregon coaches damn sure didn't know he was visiting Texas. And here he is.
It sounds like it is just a bona fide coup for Texas, and a positive one at that, and also one for Kenny Baker. I think when we analyzed this way back in late June, we talked about how Kenny Baker did everything right in this recruitment. Sharma just ended up picking Oregon, and I feel like today is a little bit of validation and maybe even some vindication for Kenny Baker and his recruiting process here in the 2025 cycle.
Yeah, like I told people when they were freaking out about it, I said, and everybody's on his case, I said, Kenny Baker did enough to win this recruitment. He had it won until less than 24 hours before the decision. So it wasn't necessarily Kenny Baker's fault. Oregon obviously went on quite the recruiting rip, but Texas kept pounding the pavement, and here they are. This is a massive, massive get. Very athletic kid. I watched him work out in the weight room. He's very active in the weight room, very energetic, hardworking kid. This is, like I said, man, you can't overestimate how big of a get this is.
You often talk about kids who profile to Texas, and even with being in Northern California up there in the Sacramento area in Folsom, you thought that he profiled to Texas, and there's even some Texas connections, if I remember correctly, with Sharma, and that he had family who lived in Texas for a while, even contemplated moving to Texas, and now we're starting to see some of those connections really come to bear for the Longhorns as they're working through the 2025 cycle here on a day when they have, almost 30 top prospects on the 40 acres, including guys like Javian Osborne, Tiki Halla, even some recruits like Chris Stewart, commits like Chris Stewart and Smith Arogbo. But for them to get Josiah Sharma, to get a kid who profiles to Texas, seems like it's a big deal to confirm a lot of what you had seen in the early parts of that recruitment.
Yeah, when I went to Folsom in late June, he seemed like a lot of kids I talked to before that end up in Texas. Now, the problem here is that he's outside of Sacramento. That's not necessarily a Texas kid. However, you could tell he fit the profile of the school. Really outgoing, but also humble, hard worker. Showed a lot of gratitude towards being at Folsom. Just seemed like a Texas kid, honestly. And he did live in Texas prior. He lived outside of Arlington. He still has family and friends there. And I do think that helped at least a little bit.
One of the things that is always worth tracking, I think, for me is the market. And not only did, when you think back in his recruitment in his top five, Washington had him committed, and that was Kalen DeBoer's staff. Alabama, under Kalen DeBoer, really wanted him. Oregon as well. That's a team that gets defense under Dan Lanning. They really wanted him. And that's, I think, speaks a lot to what Sharma really, despite his ranking, I think it's in the mid 160s or something like that, which is really awesome. But when you have Alabama, you have Oregon, you have a coach like Kalen DeBoer who went from Washington to Tuscaloosa and still maintained that pursuit. That type of thing really speaks to, in my opinion, the quality of prospect that Sharma is.
Yeah, no question about it. That's the market to look for, and we always talk about scarcity drives the market. There's just not a lot of big athletic guys like him around. It was hard to believe that he's not ranked even higher than he is. Massive get. Texas has to try to get 3 more now. Now the magic number's down to 3. They got off the schneid. I still like where they're at with Myron Charles. I know he didn't visit today. That's not one you want to win right now. You want to win that one in late November, early December. DJ Sanders is yet to decide. I think Texas is still clearly in that one. And then they're going to play the long game on a number of guys. So things look a lot better now than they did 24 hours a day at the position.
Before we keep on going, got to give some quick love to our sponsor, Laura Baker, your real estate expert in the Central Texas area. May not be able to help in Arlington, but if you're looking basically anywhere for from the 254 area all the way to 210, Laura Baker can surely help you. Part of the elite Andy Allen team over at Keller Williams Realty. So give her a call, 512-784-0505, or email her at laura@andyallenteam.com. And Eric, you kind of went into what I wanted to get to next, but I think it's still worth talking about. Those are some of the guys you mentioned that Texas remains in on. Myron Charles, you talked about DJ Sanders as well, but they're still in on other guys. They retained the official visit for Zion Williams. And basically that's all to say that all these different factors, now that Sharma's in the boat, has just greatly improved the possible and the potential of this defensive class cycle here in the 2025 class, when about 2 weeks ago it was all seemingly gloom and doom, depending on what message board you're looking on.
Yeah, well, the golden rule is don't get too high, don't get too low. So this is very exciting. They still have a lot of work left to do. Myron Charles committed to Florida State. I think he was leaning Texas before Florida State jumped in, sort of like how Oregon jumped in on Sharma. So I never lost hope on Myron. I lost a little bit of hope on Sharma. I can't deny it, because I didn't know if he had a flip in him. That tells you that he kind of made a hasty decision on Oregon. His heart was really at Texas the whole time. The fact that his high school coaches didn't know, the fact that Oregon didn't know. When I found that out this morning, I started feeling, all right, this might actually happen. And here we are. But yeah, don't get too high, don't get too low. Alongside, it's the most attention.
All righty. With that, thank y'all for joining. Glad to get some quick talk in on Josiah Sharma to Texas. Make sure you head to InsideTexas.com. Use the promo code IT1. Get 2 months of Inside Texas Plus for just $1. And make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have instant analysis on all the different recruiting news, including stuff coming soon today, this evening, I should say, from the Longhorns Texas Bash. There was another defensive tackle recruit on campus. We broke that over on InsideTexas.com via our Justin Wells. So make sure you come check it out. Eric, thank you so much. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com.